Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy SL 550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast, where we talk about politics, culture, sports, whatever is popping. And today what's popping is Tampon Timmy, election rigging, Fannie Willis singing. So, nah, but we're gonna go into a couple stories about how Trump, he was right, bro. He was right all along about the 2020 election. He was right about all the lawfare against him. He was right about the Epstein files. He was right, he was right, he was right. Exposing these Democrats every single day. This is getting ridiculous, but I like it though. And actually, I love it because it's exposing what people already knew. And that's why, like, when you really think about it, the American people overwhelmingly, all the swing states, the popular vote, voted Donald Trump in. And for various reasons. And one of them reasons is exposing the fraud, waste, and abuse inside of the government. And that's what he's doing daily. But look, man, before we start, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm on the road to 1K subs, so please subscribe to the channel for your boy. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. You heard me? So, you know what? Let's just get straight into it. So first we're going to get into this video. I just want to play this video. I want to go over this. I heard about this, but I didn't really get into it. I've been kind of busy. I heard about this story of this woman getting killed by an ICE officer, and I figured we go over it real quick.
They're approaching.
Yeah,
okay.
This is ICE agents just pulling up here. The vehicle is
Lower
right there.
And it happens so fast that it's hard to see what takes place in this particular video, but that is the front angle, and then we have also obtained some video from behind where it happens, but that is the vehicle that belongs to the woman who was killed today. And as Randy said, there were three agents in particular surrounding the car. It's unclear why she was parked at an angle in the street or what was happening in the street at that time. We do know that as they approached her vehicle, one agent told her to get out of the car, and then we see the car start to move, and then we hear the shots.
So that video you just saw is the one that President Trump also viewed this afternoon as well. And post watching that video, the president did put out a statement. I believe we have that for you. And it reads like this: I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. We will say from our observations, the officer does not appear to have been on the pavement. He was in front of that bumper at the time, but we never saw from...
See, yo, this... Oh, shit. I thought I hit that. My bad. This is crazy though, man. This is what they want though. Just being honest. Like, let's be honest, bro. This is what they want. They want chaos in the streets. They want protesters. They want agitators. They want people to go out here and make, all of this stuff. They just want things to just happen. to try to make Donald Trump look bad any way they can. So this would be a story that'd be headline, and let me see. What's the head? Let's Google it. Let's see. Let's see. Mm, top stories. Ice Asian suits. Her name is Renee Nicole, Indianapolis. Hold on, let's click on this. Second night of U.S. protests over ICE shooting. ICE agent shoots, kills U.S. citizen. ICE officer who fatally shot Minnesota woman was dragged by car. Okay. Renee Nicole Good, mother of three, who loved to sing and write poetry, shot and killed. Yeah, these people, bro. Listen, bro. You can't run over ICE officers, bro. I mean, it's not right that she got killed, but I mean that is considered like dangerous force. I mean, you're trying to run over somebody you could kill somebody by running them over. Let's be honest. So, I mean, I can't say whether or not with them shooting at her was, but maybe if they didn't, she would have spun back around and hurt more people. So, bro, this is what they want, man. They want chaos in the streets. They want people. They want people to cause scenes, bro. And more importantly, believe it or not, bro, they want these type of things to happen because they need a distraction. They need stuff like this to happen so they can have distractions from all of the things that Donald Trump is exposing. I guarantee you, bro. I guarantee it that if you look online, they're not talking about all the fraud that's being caught California, Mississippi, Minnesota. They're not talking about all the evidence, the overwhelming evidence that's coming out that we're gonna go over with Brian Maxwell about all uh, the things that they caught during the 2020 election, proving that it was stolen, like Trump been saying. Even though they like to call him a election denier. Yeah, bro. These people are crazy. But I'm not even gonna lie, bro. These Democrat liberals, they're actually like insane, bro. Like you don't see this with Republicans. You don't see, oh, uh, just random just acts. I mean, most of the stuff that you see, from how they see like mass shootings and shit, it's not political. It's just like some nutball motherfucker who's antisocial doing stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? But stuff like this, guaranteed, Democrat woman who think that she's, fighting for a cause that they manipulated and programmed the people to believe and made her do this dumb shit. And it's sad, but it cost her life.
Many of our
It's crazy.
angles, him hit the pavement. He goes on to say, is there more of the president's statement or is this the full context? He goes on to say they are just trying to do a job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this, and these are his words, radical left movement of violence. And
Yo, real shit though. Yo, that's real shit. And think about this, bro. Yo, people might have, like, I'm talking about in like baby groups. Like, I can't even say small groups. When Obama was deporting all of these illegal immigrants, might have been out trying to protest it, but not like with Trump, bro. You know what I'm saying? You never heard anybody doing any of this type of stuff that they're doing to ICE right now. Like people actually took shots at ICE. Like you never heard this until Donald Trump started doing things to actually protect American cities. Right? The crime is up, inflation was up, all of these negative things that were happening. George Floyd, BLM, Black Lives Matter, people setting shit on fire, cars, police vehicles, all types of chaos. Just chaos, bro. Now you got Donald Trump saying these things are not going to happen on my watch. So I'm going to, number one, he's trying to get illegal immigrants out of the country. He let that be known over a year ago. But now, for some reason, they're trying to act like this is like some new shit when it's not, bro. He been said he was gonna do it. Now they're all trying to act like, oh, this is illegal. Even though Democrats do it, even though Democrats did it, even though Democrats supported deporting illegal immigrants forever. I'm talking about for over a decade. All of them. Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. Joe Biden was, I heard he was talking about putting up a fence. The same way Trump talked about putting up a wall, bro. It's all projection. It's all fake. It's all fake, bro. Seriously.
Hate again. That was President Trump's evaluation as he watched the video earlier.
And then we have the clip of the perspective from behind the vehicle as well that we want to show you. So you've seen the perspective from the front, and now we're going to show you the perspective from behind from somebody who had a cell phone out at the scene when all of this. Quickly, we're going to try to get to a point where we can maybe slow this down and show you some still shots. But as Randy was saying, we see all of the agents standing in the street, nobody on the ground. Again, that is the perspective from behind, and we've watched it several times. So again, that vehicle the woman was in is it's parked in the street. We don't know for how long though, and it was at an angle. And we know that ICE agents then approached that vehicle, and then the vehicle started to take off. Then after you hear the shots, it veers off into that parked car on the side of the street. Kristi Noem also issued a statement today, and I don't know if we can put it up on the screen, but just want to give you the perspective of all the different reactions that are coming in as a result of this shooting this morning. Noem saying it was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively, shot to protect himself and the people around him. My understanding is she was hit and is deceased, and we've confirmed that. This goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and law enforcement are under every single day. Again, that is Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi.
And like they never was doing this, bro. They never was doing this, bro. They're only doing it because Donald Trump is the president, bro. Plain and simple, man. Like that's the part that kills me with all of this stuff is that, you know, they act like this, stuff is new. Like ICE been around. ICE been, you know, doing their job, you know. Um, and now like you just got him getting shot at, people trying to run him over with cars, attack him, trying to stop them from doing their job. It's so stupid, bro. It just kills me though, cause just looking at how brainwashed these people are, bro. You see all of these, like, I still can't get over the Venezuela shit. All of the stuff that happened after Trump went got this guy Maduro, and you see all of these white liberals out there looking stupid. Got actual Venezuelan people out there telling them like, yo, you sound dumb. You can't make this shit up, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I can see it, bro. I see it coming, bro. It's gonna be swatch. I'm saying this now. And I'm always gonna say I hope it doesn't, but I'm telling you now, with Trump exposing so much, just think about it, bro. He's exposing the rigging of the 2020 election, which is huge, bro. That's like really huge because this is something that they needed. They needed the avenue to be able to rig these elections, because that's how they was trying to hold on to power. But see, Trump was already 10 steps ahead of them on that, and that was the reason why they was able to shut that down. And we're going to get into that, bro. That whole thing is deep, bro. And people, it's going to be a big investigation, bro. People are going to go to jail for that. Like, we're talking about interfering with a federal election, bro. Like, this is this is the whole enchilada, bro. People are going down for that. And then you got, just think about it. 20 million up to 20 million illegal immigrants in the country. And all the resources that the Trump administration have to shell out in order to get this task, done. They're not gonna get every single illegal immigrant out of the country. I just think that's like impossible. But just think about all the resources that this is taking up. And they're going from state to state. That is a big job in itself. That's going to take multiple years in order. It might even go into whoever's the next president, you know? And that's if a Republican keeps the seat, especially not one that's not a fucking rhino or actually a Democrat in a Republican disguise, because that's the only way this stuff is gonna get cleaned up, bro. But with Trump exposing all of this fraud that's going on in Minnesota and California, Mississippi, the election, the USAID, just so much stuff going on, bro. And it's only what this the second week into January, and all of this stuff is coming out. And I'm telling you, bro, something big is coming down the pipe, like in a couple months, bro. I can see it happening, like something major, because they need something big to happen in order to distract, from what Trump is doing and putting the spotlight on. They hate the fact that he's uncovering all of this fraud, but the fact that it's a big spotlight on it, and you got guys like Nick Shirley getting 100 million plus views on just the story he did in Minnesota alone. Just that. Bro, this stuff is getting deep. Let's get to this next story.
January 6th, and President Trump putting Colombia and Cuba on notice. Cuba, he says, is ripe to fall. And President Gustavo Petro of Colombia telling him, this is your notice, your official notice to take out your cocaine mills or else. And Tim Walz dropping out of the Minnesota governor's race yesterday, holding another press conference today, looking like he's aged 15 years overnight. What is happening to Tim Walz? He is sweating right now. We're going to show you that, and we'll show you why. Wait till you see this. Let's start here.
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and
it sounds good to me.
Secretary Rubio mentioned.
You know why? Because they kill a lot of people.
That was President Trump overnight responding to Gustavo Petro, president of Colombia, the first openly socialist, anti-American leader in that country's history. Colombia historically has been a very conservative country. This new guy, though, Gustavo Petro, marks a historic shift, an openly socialist leader choosing to side against America, with our enemies, with China, Russia, with Cuba, and yesterday confronting, taunting President Trump. Watch this.
A mí no me amenace, aquí lo espero si quiere. No acepto invasiones, no acepto misiles, no acepto asesinatos, acepto inteligencia. Vengan aquí a hablar con inteligencia y lo recibimos y hablamos de tú a tú y con cifras reales, no con mentiras. Deje de engañarse.
Daring Trump to come and get me. Very similar language.
Why are they playing games with Trump, bro? They don't have the backing of the Democratic Party in the sense that they think that they're going to get actual help. Like, Trump isn't playing with these people, bro. We see it. We know, listen, Trump is a billionaire. We know he's not in it for the money because of all the things that he's exposing with the welfare fraud, with the, fraud in general, but also with the fact that he's exposing how the Obamacare subsidies were going strictly, and straight to all the big insurance companies, and how he said we don't need to be looking out for these millionaire billionaire insurance companies. We need to give the money directly to the people. So if Trump was in it for the money, he would be with all of the fraud, the waste and abuse that's going on within the government. He'd be taking advantage of it too. But he's doing the opposite. So we know that, Donald Trump isn't in it for the money, though. I think Donald Trump is going out with a bang. He's going out with a bang. He's not playing. Like, when it's all said and done, bro, I don't see Democrats getting back in power, bro. And these other countries, Venezuela, they're ecstatic. Colombia, they're probably the same way as Venezuela. And as soon as this guy, I don't even know the situation. Let's see what more RJ talking about this.
To what Maduro said just a few weeks ago, and we all know what happened to him. Colombia, though, is in this very unique situation. The country, its institutions are all pro-American. They've worked for decades to become a strong, stable U.S. ally, and in a matter of months, this new president has flushed all that progress down the toilet, siding continuously with China and Russia, and now with the Maduro regime, calling Maduro's capture an illegal kidnapping and imperialist invasion of Venezuela's sovereignty, saying in front of supporters yesterday, if you bomb even one of these cartel groups, President Trump, without sufficient intel, you will kill many children. If you bomb peasants, thousands of guerrillas will return to the mountains. And if you arrest the president himself, whom a good part of my people want and respect, you will unleash the popular jaguar, referring to the Colombian people. Then he wrote on X yesterday, I swore not to touch a weapon again since the 1989 peace pact, but for the homeland, I will take up arms. Yes, Gustavo Petro, you are a tough guy, just like Nicolas Maduro.
That sounds like a threat to me. That sounds like a threat. He said he willing to. He said he ain't pick up a weapon in years, but he told Trump. He said, I'm willing to pick the strap back up. Hey, these motherfuckers is crazy, bro. That attitude gonna change real quick.
Was a tough guy up until he wasn't. Regardless, though, Petro is out of power in 6 months or in 5 months. In May is their next presidential election. It's on May 31st, and he is very unpopular in Colombia. In fact, it's him hoping that Trump picks a fight with him. That's why he's doing this, to boost his popularity. There's, always a rallying effect when someone threatens your president, even if you don't support that president, which is why I think Trump's being reserved in how he's addressing this. Trump responding to him, but keeping it on drugs, focusing on the drug aspect, saying he has cocaine mills, he has factories where he makes cocaine, and they're sending it into the United States. And yes, he does have to watch his ass.
So in response to the United States taking sanctioned oil from Venezuela, Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response to that is.
Well, he has to watch because, he's got drug factories. They make cocaine in Colombia. And he's no friend of the United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker. And he better watch it. You better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. He better close them up fast, yeah.
The Trump administration now setting their sights on Cuba, who Trump says is ripe to fall. For years, the Cuban regime has insisted that it had no military or intel presence in Venezuela. Yet the 32 out of 40 elite security officers guarding Nicolas Maduro Saturday, it turned out, were Cuban military and intel personnel. The proof now is unmistakable. They were killed as part of Maduro's inner security ring, exposing Cuba's role in exporting its intel services to keep their allies in power. The Cuban embassy confirming this. All 32 of their deaths, the Cuban embassy posting about it on X, 32 of the 40 casualties of Trump's operation were Cuban. Why? How is that even possible? Has Cuba been running Venezuela?
Yeah, they got interest. They got interest over
entire time? Not anymore. President Trump saying Cuba is about to fall. Watch.
Cuba is ready to fall.
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out.
Was there a final
But
straw?
Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
I have.
They go down for the count. And Cuba looks like it's going.
What we are witnessing is a new foreign policy, a semi-return to the Monroe Doctrine, which a lot of people are talking about with Trump's own sort of spin on it, a foreign policy strategy that focuses on our own hemisphere, forcing NATO to play a larger role in Europe's defense against Russia, and this new pact with the Gulf countries to keep Iran at bay so we don't have to mess around in the Middle East anymore, while we focus our energies and our resources here at home, in our own backyard. Watch Stephen Miller explain this, explain how this works, the new Trump foreign policy strategy, and leave Jake Tapper aghast about it all. Roll the tape.
The United States, this is sort of foundational. The United States is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us, to hoard weapons from our adversaries, to be able to be positioned as an asset against the United States rather than on behalf of the United States.
Sovereign countries shouldn't be able to do what they want to do.
Look at Jake Tapper. Sovereign countries should be able to do this. Shut the fuck up, bro. These people kill me, bro. Yo, at the end of the day, Venezuela is close to us. Why would we allow Venezuela to blatantly do business, have some type of, relationship with our so-called enemies? Why? Why would we do that? Why? When we could just do what we just did? Especially the fact that why are they trying to act like this guy Maduro was like, you know, the Pope or something? Yeah, that was a bad example. Like he's a good guy. He's not. They. Oh my God, bro. Jake Tapper and them, bro. They're just clowns, bro.
The Monroe Doctrine and the Trump Doctrine
Can't make
is
it.
all
Can't
about
make it up.
securing the national interests of America. For years, we sent our soldiers to die in deserts in the Middle East to try to build them parliaments, to try to build them democracies, to try to give them more oil, to try to give them more resources. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging
I don't even
and
know,
engaging in these
honestly,
vast
what you're talking
reparation
about right
schemes.
now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea. And by the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
I asked you about if there should be an election.
Exactly.
I asked you if there would be an election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I said, why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? You answered that question. And then I said,
the objective, Jake, is security and stability for the people of Venezuela.
And look, according to the polls, Americans support this. Support capturing Maduro, support putting him on trial.
Even Democrats.
This is largely united Republicans and divided Democrats, which is frankly good politics. Even the ladies of The View coming out in support of this.
Your question, who voted for this? The people in South Florida, the Venezuelan community, the Cuban American community, the Nicaraguan American community voted for this. And for us, this is a very, very happy day when we see a dictator who has been part of oppressing and abusing the Venezuelan people for 25 years. When we see him in handcuffs and held to some sort of accountability, it brought me into tears. It brought me great joy. And
this is The View. This is The View. She said it brought me to tears. This is the happiest day of her life. I didn't say it. She said it. She said it moved her what Trump did. So it just doesn't mix when you have people like Anna Verona View who hates Trump with all of her existence, even admitting that what Trump is doing and did in Venezuela is good for the Venezuelan people. But at the end of the day, they are going to go against every single thing that Donald Trump does. And the only reason why Jake Tapper isn't glazing Trump and all on and licking Trump's nutsack is the fact that he didn't get off what he tried to do. See, he tried to grift. He tried to grift with his book and try to make it seem like, we all got played and, here goes my book telling you, the story on what happened when Joe Biden was a fucking uh, a clone. I mean, that's really what Joe Biden was, bro. Joe Biden was a fucking clone. The person that y'all see out there, half talking decent and all that shit, that was a clone, bro. The real Joe Biden is somewhere in a wheelchair looking at the window pane. You heard? Bro, I just don't get them, bro. I just don't. It's everything though. It's not like they be like, okay, we fuck with Trump on this situation. We like what he did over here with inflation. Okay, he really is bringing prices down a little bit. Maybe he could do a little better. Nothing, bro. They make it seem like everything Donald Trump is doing is the worst thing that you could possibly do being president. I don't think nothing that Donald Trump can do, like he can literally do nothing from now until he leaves office, and he still did 1,000 times more than Joe Biden could have ever done in his 4 years, bro. Joe Biden literally was a net negative for Americans. Democrats today, right now, are a net negative for all Americans. They are not doing anything that is benefiting the American people. All they do is act, play politics, and call racism. That's it. No policies, nothing. They don't have anything. Like, even when you look at the Obamacare subsidies, right? When you had Bernie Moreno on the floor asking questions to Chuck Schumer about the subsidies, about who was going to be able to take advantage of it, who was the money going to, and so forth and so forth. I showed it on previous videos, right? Chuck Schumer. My whole thing is a person that has great intentions, right? These are um, you know, public figures in the government who represent the American people. When asked these questions, when it's coming from a good place, when you claim to be a patriot and you do everything you can and fight for the American people, all them questions that Bernie Moreno asked, they would have been easily answered with logical based answers, but they weren't. All they try to do, Donald Trump wants to look out for his millionaires and billionaire friends, bro. That shit is lame. But the insurance companies are the millionaire and the billionaires. The Democrats, for now, over a decade, have been giving billions of dollars annually to these big insurance companies, and it only benefited the insurance companies, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these, Democrats too. But oh my God, bro. I don't see it. Nobody's voting Democrat for a long time.
And brand new polling shows a jump in Trump's approval on Venezuela. Check this out.
Yeah, it's been a dramatic change in a direction that I think the
president... So hold on. When he says this, remember too that they constantly always put out there, the American people stand with us on this issue. They think that the American people actually support the Democrats today. And they just don't. They just don't.
As the United States will like, because what are we looking at here? Okay, U.S. military ousting Maduro. Pre-ousting, what you saw was the clear plurality of Americans opposed at 47%, just 21% support. Come over to this side of the screen. After the ousting, look at that. The support through the roof. Now we're talking about 37%, well within the margin of error right here of the opposition, 38%. It turns out Americans like what they deem to be successful foreign policy operations. And in this case, they view the ousting of Maduro, at least up to this point, as a successful one, and therefore the support way up.
In another story, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz dropping out of the Minnesota governor's race yesterday, appearing defeated today during a press conference he gave, another press conference he gave addressing the Somali fraud scandal that just ended his political career. Walz and his team are now shifting strategies, no longer denying the fraud like they've been doing for weeks, no longer calling people investigating it racists and Islamophobics, but now acknowledging the truth that serious corruption and fraud happened under his leadership. Watch this.
Did you make the decision to end your campaign by yourself, or did you receive pressure from Democrats?
Hold on, bro. Don't this nigga. Look at this nigga, bro.
This is a decision that I.
Bro, look at this nigga, bro. Hold on, bro. This nigga looks sick. This nigga got skinny. He losing weight. It's over for Tampon Timmy, man. Oh my God. This shit is a shame, bro. This is who Kamala Harris picked to be her running mate during the election, bro. A nigga who put tampons in boys' bathrooms. Same guy when the BLM riots happened and they was burning down Minnesota, he was opening up his windows so he can smell niggas smoking. Oh shit. Look at this dude, bro. Straight sellout, man. This is a China spy, bro, or something, bro. This dude is a fucking lame. Yeah, this nigga aged 30 years within 1 year of Donald Trump getting elected. But he aged, out of them 30, he aged about 25 of them in the past week and a half.
I make with my family. And certainly, I think, as I said, it's the right decision. I'll note, I think it's appropriate we're here today. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States.
He think they're going to, hold on. They're supposed to corroborate all of this information with you. When you're in on it, you're part of the investigation, buddy. You're a part of it. They're investigating you. When they come, they're just not coming for the people that they got right now. No, they're coming for you too. And they're coming.
Led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really didn't, and courts convicted 400 of them, and he pardoned them. No, he did that. He did that, and that's today. And it's clear that we also saw today he implemented 5 states are being punished with a freezing of federal funds illegally that were appropriated by Congress, our tax dollars.
Shockingly, still taking zero responsibility for what he's done to his state, instead blaming Trump, blaming Republicans, blaming them for taking advantage, he says, of a real, genuine crisis. In a surprising, though, refreshing development, Senator Eric Schmidt announcing he's introducing legislation to denaturalize Somali fraudsters, making it required, fully constitutional, to deport them, even if they are naturalized citizens. Thank you, Senator Schmidt. This needs to get passed ASAP. This has to get pushed through right away. We need this.
It's a pretty stunning development, and in fact, I'll be introducing some legislation to make it easier to denaturalize individuals who've committed this kind of fraud in our country. We need to go after this fraud. We need to have more tools to make sure this kind of fraud doesn't happen. But it's a really stunning development. I think it also tells you, Harris, that this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the Somali-based fraud that had to do with these daycare centers. There's also a bunch of money that went out the door at the end of the Biden administration that had nothing to do with COVID, but it was under the auspices of these COVID funds. I think you're going to see another wave of fraud. So I think that's probably at the heart of why Tim Walz's demise here is headline news. But the other fraud that was perpetrated when he was picked as the running mate, he was supposed to be, Governor Jazz Hands would come out on stage. He wasn't appealing to young men. I mean, this was the best they had to offer to deal with the fact that their party had completely tacked to the left over the last decade. And so Tim Walz is kind of the poster child, I think, for not only how out of touch the Democrats are, but how corrupt they are when they actually govern.
Elon Musk.
Bro, he broke that shit down so perfectly, bro. Like, so perfectly. Like, these people are so corrupt. They are so out of touch with reality, bro. It's not even funny. Well, I'm not even gonna say that. I think they know exactly what they're doing, and they're in on it. This is a big plan, bro. You remember, Brian? What's that? Who did I play that on? Yeah, it was Brian Maxwell. When he was bringing up that story of how to, if I was to destroy America or some shit, and he had all them points about how they would make it multicultural and all of these different things. Bro, that is a real plan, bro, that I think that they're in as we speak, bro. Cause just look at everything that's going on, bro. You can't even believe. Like, yo, sometimes, bro, I really be thinking to myself like, yo, I can't believe this stuff is really going on, bro. Like, I was on my phone. It's like it's everywhere. It's in everything. I was on my phone, in the context, and I was looking, editing the contact, and they asked me, it has a section for your pronouns in there, and it's like, yo, bro, they're, bro, they're making things that are not normal, have not been normal for forever, forever, like since 2020 on, all the way to the beginning of time. Just for these last 5 years, they were trying to make things that are not normal, regular shit, to where it's in your everyday life, like it's just, waking up and brushing your teeth. Yeah, bro. This might be the the end of times, man. It might be.
Documents contain
Let's get into this
emails,
next story with my guy
allegedly,
Brian
from the
Maxwell.
senior vice president of the George Soros
It gets
Open
deep.
Society Foundation. He quotes a Clinton campaign advisor saying,
deep.
quote, "It will be a long-term affair and to demonize Putin and Trump," and adds that, quote, "Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire," unquote. Other emails reveal Hillary Clinton approved the idea of tying Trump and Russia to election interference. And that was a scheme hoping the allegations would distract people from her own email scandal. These documents provide clear evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign was behind the Russia hoax and that the FBI knew what the Clinton team was up to, acknowledging that the info they were receiving about the Trump campaign may have come from the Clinton camp. Despite this, the Obama intel community forged ahead with the 2017 assessment, concluding that Russia aspired to help Trump win the election.
Patriots, this video is extremely important because President Trump, for the last week or so, has been dropping video after video after video exposing the election fraud from 2020. Now, you may be saying, Brian, it's 2026. Why does 2020 matter? And it's very important that you listen to what I'm about to say. 2024 almost was a repeat of 2020. It just wasn't made public. I saw a recent report from a former DOJ official that worked with Elon Musk and his team in 2024 when they got notification that a facility in Belgrade that was attempting to hack into the systems and the network of the 2024 election between Trump and Kamala Harris. When they found it out, I learned something new because they found it out and they did get help from some really, really high level security networking companies and whatnot. And they were able through the wires to melt the computers of the hackers in Belgrade. They were actually on the ground over there. They had people on the ground there, but they were watching it from the United States. Elon Musk and a number of people blocking them from hacking into the systems and flipping the election like they did previously. Now, if you watched any of my other videos and you felt like they were informative and they were good, I highly assure you, you definitely want to watch this one because history repeats itself if we don't pay attention. And this is not news reports that I'm about to bring to you. These are words from the actual witnesses. We got video clips of the trucks. Wait till you see it. We even got clips of ballot stuffers, not the ones we saw with Ruby Freeman. This is one where CNN mistakenly exposed somebody stuffing a ballot while they were doing the report. So this video, I'm not going to do too much talking. Going to be a lot of video clips, but for the first few minutes, I am going to guide you through the clips that we're going to be looking at. So in this first clip, we got Sidney Powell. Now, you may not be familiar with who Sidney Powell is, but Sidney Powell was a part of Trump's first administration's team. And she also fell victim to Fani Willis and her prosecutions in Fulton County, Georgia. Sidney Powell ended up taking a plea and accepting a minor count to avoid jail time. She has since been vindicated with the information that has come out of Fulton County, which was the premise for all of these prosecutions that took place, that President Trump interfered with the 2020 election. We've also got fragments of that phone call that President Trump made to the electors. And when you hear it, your jaw's going to drop. Because when you hear what it is that he's saying versus what they tried to say that he did, you see now why the Most High God stepped in and cleared the path for President Trump to make America first. So check this clip out of Sidney Powell.
the Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out. We have one very strong witness who has explained how it all works. His affidavit is attached to the pleadings of Lynn Wood in the lawsuit he filed in Georgia. It is a stunning, detailed affidavit because he was with Hugo Chavez while he was being briefed on how it worked. He was with Hugo Chavez when he saw it operate to make sure the election came out his way. That was the express purpose for creating this software. He has seen it operate, and as soon as he saw the multiple states shut down the voting on the night of the election, he knew the same thing was happening here.
Now, you heard her talk about the system shutting down and it being started and funded by Hugo Chavez, who gave $100 million to the Smartmatic company. Now, Smartmatic and Dominion are tied together. Dominion sued Fox News, who had did a report on how the Dominion voting machines weren't working right and there was potential fraud going on. They sued Fox News for $1 billion, if you remember that case. And a part of that deal was Tucker Carlson being fired from the network because he was the one that broke the story. The only problem is now we have actual video proof of the Dominion.
Hey, yo, hold on, bro. Just think about it, bro. A lot of people were getting banned off of Twitter when it was Twitter. Now it's X. A lot of people were getting their accounts on every social media platform banned. Stories, they weren't reporting on none of these stories. Anybody who tried to report on these stories were literally locked up or something happened to them, bro. Fired, whatever the case may be. And now to find out when they're actually doing these investigations, and it's not just like Trump's administration is coming out with these, just fabricated stories. Like they're actually giving you video proof of all of these different elements that happened during the 2020 election. And Trump knew all of this. This is why he never said that he lost fair and square in the 2020 election. He always denied it, always said that it was stolen. And it all makes sense. I mean, the fact that Joe Biden got, 81 million votes was even ridiculous. Like, they didn't even try to, do it in a way where it was hard to prove. Like, they have so much information that he's going to go on about in this video. Bruh, like, you can't make this stuff up. All these different things that Donald Trump has been saying all along have been right. It's crazy, bro.
And Smartmatic machines and the technology on the inside that made it to how they were able to hack into our elections, and how they're going to try it again unless we block it and we support the president's movement on paper ballots. But check this out.
Initiated by a court order, the Michigan investigation team obtained forensic access to a DS-200 tabulator, the machine that counts the votes. A Telit 4G wireless chip manufactured in Taiwan was discovered embedded into the motherboard. The voting machine tapes clearly indicate modem engagement and transmission of election data. Some of the anomalies that we noticed in the 2020 general elections, that 5 key states all stopped counting at a certain time in these key battleground states. These were all where the software, Dominion machines, ESNS machines were used, the Smartmatic, the GEMS software. So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been noted in other countries as well, President Trump was significantly ahead. When reporting and counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that favored Joe Biden.
Now, that's just the tip of the iceberg, okay? So you saw that. Now I want you to listen to this election worker in Michigan. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a subscribe. This is what took place in Detroit, where 10,000 ballots had the exact same bubble fill and the same exact write-ins, which is statistically impossible for 10,000 people to fill their bubble in the exact same, write in the name of the candidate the exact same way. It just doesn't happen. Check this out.
Representative Steve Johnson. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So obviously these allegations are very troubling. This is my question here. If these ballots were run through multiple times, as you've alleged, and then you said possibly up to 30,000 times, definitely thousands of times being counted. When we examine the poll book and see who voted, and we count those numbers, would they then not line up with the total number of votes coming out of Detroit?
Just later. The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off
That
30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
And
That poll book. Why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
So my question then is, if the
Guess how many? Wait. What about the turnout rate? 120%.
So as you see, she wasn't having it. She knew he was going to try to, tone down what it was that she was saying, when in reality, in Michigan, their voter turnout was 120%, not to mention the number of dead people who voted. As a matter of fact, here's a post from President Trump from one of the X sites, the Skiff, which I do go to the Skiffs too.
Voting,
Trump highlights 2020 election fraud, 17,327 deceased voters counted, with some fabricated birth dates of 1900. Dominion voting machines glitched, rebooted with massive vote dumps, putting Biden ahead. Do you remember in the middle of the night?
But hold on, bro. He about to bring this up, but just think about this. Like, it just so happened that these key states all at the same time shut down. They all shut down. And when they miraculously rebooted all at the same time, everybody voted for Joe Biden. They said they had. I'm gonna let him. This is crazy, bro.
The reports of it, because I stayed up that night, and in the middle of the night,
they got the
everything
receipts.
had stopped. And I did. I think I ended up going to sleep. Maybe it was around 3 or 4. It was 4 in the morning. I went to sleep. I woke up at 6 because I passed out on the couch. Woke up at 6. Joe Biden had got like 300,000 or 400,000 votes all in the middle of the night. And it's like, who's up counting at that time of night? Then you find out that all of the polls closed in the 5 states that had those machines. All the polls shut down and stopped counting at the same time. And then when they all restarted, wait till you see the anomaly. Now, here's what President Trump had to say. Let me see if I can enlarge this some. Nope, as big as it go. Let's see if this make it any bigger. Testimony from multiple 2020 election workers find 17,327 deceased people votes being counted, some born in 1900s, and claims of massive data dumps of votes done remotely after a glitch occurred. The glitch is the steal, and just one of the many techniques and layers of election fraud. Detroit's TFC Center contained backdated ballots and fabricated birth dates like 1/1/1900 to outright obstruction of observers. The worst was a verified list of 17,327 deceased Michiganders confirmed by obituaries who voted via mail-in ballots sent by Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Sent by the Secretary of State. These voters were over 80, dead before Election Day, yet their ballots were cast. Let's listen to the poll worker.
Hold on, bro.
Public.
Hold on, bro. How does that even happen? How did they even get that off? How do you do that? So that's why Trump is saying that we need to get rid of mail-in ballots altogether. So basically they were using, I guess, mail-in ballots and using made-up names of people who have been deceased since the 1900s. Since the 1900s, crazy.
Every legislator, whether seated in the House or the Senate, whether Democrat or Republican, took an oath to defend the U.S. and state constitutions of the U.S. and Michigan against enemies both foreign and domestic. Time is of the essence, and now is the time to fulfill that oath. Despite what the media is telling everyone, there are mountains of evidence that voter fraud occurred on a massive scale, the likes of which we've never witnessed in the country.
I'm going to flash forward to 2 o'clock.
Hold on. He said, despite what the media is putting out there is mountains of evidence.
In the morning. At midnight, Trump was ahead 10%, which was an unusually high amount. To about 2 o'clock in the morning, my monitor went down. It totally rebooted.
On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place.
Yeah, it's going down, man. It's going down. Hold on.
Country right now. See.
Missing. 70 As when I went home and woke up,
everything
Biden was ahead. We had processed 120,000 votes by midnight out of the 170,000 absentee ballots we were expecting. So I assumed we were missing about 50,000, and all of a sudden Biden was now missing, and the voting had stopped in the middle of the night. So unless you were one of the few processing tables, you would not have seen this rebooting of the laptops.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Sawyer? Senator Tice.
Sorry, there's a theme here. So when you were watching people get thrown out, did you know whether or not they were Republican or Democrat as they were getting booted
It
out?
depends if they clapped or not. Anytime they clapped, you knew that was a Republican.
Wow. So as you heard that, so we got Michigan again. Now, here's CNN as they're trying to do a report on it, and they're going to accidentally catch this woman stuffing ballot boxes. Check this out.
In Cuyahoga County, Ohio. You can see this woman right here casting her vote. Did you vote for Reagan or Jimmy Carter? Okay.
Hold on, look at her. Yeah. Yo, bro. Yo, they cook, bro. Look at her. Look, she just looking like, I vote for Biden 30 times.
We don't want to get too personal with people here, but you can see.
You see
there's
that?
actually a traffic.
Yo, what's the odds of that? Of them doing a story just about the election. Oh, come out and vote. And they catch this woman stuffing massive ballots in the box. Oh my God, man. They're cooked. They got more. They got it's more evidence. These
Folks just
people
can't
are
help
cooked.
themselves. Now, we're talking about Detroit, and then I'm going to get into the real clip where it really like brings you in and breaks it home. Now, this right here is the video, what happened in Detroit. Nobody have been talking about Michigan. We've been talking about Georgia. We've been talking about Arizona. But Michigan and Wisconsin were two where massive fraud took place, but yet the media ignored it. Check this out.
This is inside the TCF Center. Now, the local media said that this never happened. Patty actually called me on November 4th. She was inside the TCF, and she said, Jim, you won't believe it. I just heard that a van dropped off boxes of ballots in the middle.
See the logo on the side? Definitely Democrat van. And you heard them say that the local media said that this, what's on video that we're looking at, never happened.
Of the night, and she was working inside the TCF that morning. So we put in a request to get this video. It took months, and we got this at Gateway Pundit. We put this up on on our site. We tweeted about it, and that's when we lost our Twitter account, by the way, by putting up this video. There's a lead car, an escort car that comes in. You can see here. Each time he hands something to the people inside, and then this van drives in, and they actually came in twice. Now, we had local media, one of the top reporters there. I'm not going to mention his name. He said that this never happened. He was there all night. There was no fraud. Nothing happened. So now we have the video of that.
These folks, they just lie all over the place. And then, like we always say, today's hoax, today's Democrat hoax is tomorrow's actual fact. Now, this is the last clip, then I'm going to get into the real deal. But listen to this, what happened in Arizona.
I want to cover is the tabulator machines. We received just a few weeks ago, January of 2023, the system log files from the tabulators that were used in Maricopa County on Election Day, along with the redacted CVR records. Through an analysis, we were able to determine that 250,000 ballot feeds misread by those tabulators. There are approximately 2 tabulators in every polling center, which means there were 446 tabulators with 250,000 voter attempt failures. I want to cover is the tabulator machine.
Wow. So 250,000 in Arizona. Now, this video right here that we're about to watch, this is where it has President Trump, a part of his phone call where he was trying to get to the bottom of what was going on in Georgia. I'm going to play this one in full screen because I want you to fully grasp what's going on in this video. Check this out.
But what about real voter turnout, wildly exceeding the bad actors' predictive modeling and the algorithms used? What then? Election officials will instruct workers to stop counting, and the media will begin to shape public perception.
Election workers in Allegheny County are back to work after pausing counting overnight. Butler County had to press pause on counting ballots. Nevada, meanwhile, has stopped counting votes until 9 a.m. on Thursday.
Good morning, Heather. They did have to press pause overnight. They will be back in a few short hours, expected to resume counting around 8:30 this morning.
Fulton County is now going to stop counting at 10:30 p.m. and will resume their count at tomorrow morning.
They basically stopped counting tonight. They're going to start counting again in a few hours. It's already tomorrow morning, right?
Here's where it gets really bizarre. Fulton County, most populous county, it is Atlanta. They just stopped counting at 10:30 p.m. They stopped counting their absentee ballots. They said they'd pick it up in the morning.
So everyone stopped counting. Now it's time to reboot, create new set points, and gather ballots in the dark of night while observers are sent home to again match the digital subversion. This thing where we've got on election night,
whole play, bro.
we look at the cumulative votes of competing candidates. This is Trump versus Biden. Now, you'll see here the winning candidate at some point is Trump, and he's winning handedly in Wisconsin. And then all of a sudden, you see this massive injection for the losing candidate. That would be Biden. This is what has become known as the F curve or the fraud curve. And it's become meme worthy. This is basically the banner. This is the flag that is flown by all the fraudsters out there. We saw the same F curve in all of the swing states.
I told them how the Georgia runoff election for the two senators was going to go. I gave them the model. Republicans are winning. Guess what happened? System went down, came back up, and it flipped. I went to Washington, D.C. on January 4th, 2021, and I met with counsel for Pompeo. How much surprise do you think was on his face? None.
Ruby Freeman, about early in the morning,
Look at
when the woman took when the whole gang took the stuff out of from under the table,
You
right?
seen that?
For some reason, they put it in 3 times.
You seen that? They was taking bags from under the table that they placed there beforehand, and once everybody left, they went under the table and started grabbing big, luggage bags full of ballots, bro. They got so much proof that people. This is not even all of it. Like, they got so much proof of these people rigging the 2020 election. But my thing, I think that just stands out the most is the fact that just analytically, like, Joe Biden was nowhere near as popular as Obama was, or Trump. Let's be honest. And the fact that he got the most votes ever in history as a president says it all. I'm just being honest, bro.
Each ballot, and I don't know.
Let's finish
Now,
this
this is
up.
part of the president's call I was telling y'all about. So pay attention for the next minute or so.
All right, so what we're looking at here are 2 different batches of
More
votes.
evidence.
Scanner 5162, batch 234, image 59, and scanner 5162, batch 235, image 19. And what you can see is that, like on this vote right here, we've got this exact same little tail. Here's the next one that shows, you can see Republican is written there, Republicans written there. This is ballot 61. This is ballot number 2. And then each one of them even has this little dot in the Fannie Willis.
Okay, and do you have more of those?
We have the entire batch. There's 62 images in here total, and I didn't even get a chance to go through all of them.
Do you know do you know who those ballots? Do you know who they were made out to? Do you know who they were voting for?
No, not specifically.
Did you ever check?
We did what I described to you earlier.
No. Did you ever check the ballots that were scammed by Ruby Freeman, a known political operative balloteer? Did you ever check who those votes were for?
We looked into that situation that you described.
No, they were 100% for Biden. 100%. There wasn't a Trump vote in the whole group.
Which is
They also create phony
not
ballots.
possible, bro.
And that's a real problem. That's my opinion. But they create a lot of phony ballots.
All that's left in the cheat is to now delay reporting, with the media creating a new perception, namely that it is perfectly reasonable to get results days and days after an election was held.
Polls have closed. We should get our first batch of voting numbers in about an hour. That'll be the bulk of the early vote. That should favor Democrats. As the night goes on, we'll get numbers from today's vote. That should favor Republicans. If these races are really as close as people think, we may not be able to even guess who won until we know how many votes were actually cast. So we know how many votes were actually cast.
So there we have it. All of the speculation that the Democrats have been saying was wrong. You remember back in 2020?
Hey, yo, bro. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, bro. Always exposing these Democrat demons, bro. Sheesh. Bang. Yo, every single day, bro, there's something new happening, bro, and going on. one thing you gotta say, bro, is that Trump shaking shit up for real. Now, a lot of people will deny shit just off of the fact that they vote Democrat or whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is that there's overwhelming evidence that the 2020 election was rigged. I don't know what happened. What happens in that case? Like, let me. I want to see if they have any information on that. Let's see if they have anything. Oh. Okay, so it says, as of January 2026, the U.S. legal and constitutional system provides no mechanism to overturn a past presidential election. Once the results have been certified by states, the Electoral College votes counted by Congress, and a winner inaugurated. Definitive that the president's term ends at noon on January 20th. Once a term begins, there is no provision to nullify the election and rerun it or replace the sitting president with the previous loser. So it's pretty much nothing. It's just to prove it, and it's actually a good thing that they proven it though, because then it really will have Americans on board. I think most Americans are on board with making elections safer and passing. I think it was the SAVE Act, making it mandatory to have to have voter ID. Hey, I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think it's going to go up to the Supreme Court and they're going to rule in Trump's favor to pass. I don't even know how that works if they could do that, but I guess it just got to pass the House and the Senate. But we'll see what happens with that. As of right now, I don't think they passed. I think they passed it in the House or something like that. Let me see. Hold on. No see. So yeah, it's called the SAVE Act. It said it has not become law. It passed the House of Representatives in April and has not yet passed the Senate or been signed by the president. The bill, which required proof of U.S. citizenship for federal voter registration, now awaits action in the Senate, where its future is uncertain. Notes Congress.gov and all right. So basically, it passed the House and it didn't pass the Senate yet. So so basically, Trump is setting the floor, setting the stage to prove that the 2020 election was rigged. So therefore, it would pretty much force the Senate to have to pass the SAFE Act, which will then in return make elections safe. So hopefully that does happen, man. But yo, shout out to RJ Talks TV and Brian Maxwell, giving the latest and the greatest on all the fraud, waste, corruption, abuse, and rigging that's going on in America, bro. Things need to get better for sure, man. God damn, yo. Shout out to Trump for exposing it, man. But that's the show for today, man. If you like the show, please hit that like button, comment down below, share the video. Also, hit that subscribe button for me. Your boy on the road to 1K subscribers, and I can't do it without you. So, whether you like the video or you do not like the video, I need you both to do the same exact thing and hit that subscribe button for me. I truly do appreciate it. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream. Rich man greed, a poor man prayers. Every man bleeds, but look how God made us. Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.